Hey, this is Moo. Welcome back to the adventures of Creepy Bald Uncle, the world's best PvPer, explorer, and now fleet commander. This picks up just a little bit after my second heroic sacrifice, turning the tide of the battle. And as you can see, there's still a lot of ships on the gate, but there's not a lot of fighting, so I'm supposing that my side, the one that was listening to me, probably won. Now, I know it's hard to believe because the Imperial Academy is a well-respected institute of higher learning, but I have sometimes been mistaken for a neutral. So I decided to warp off immediately, jump into Roshzar just for a second so that no trigger-happy newbie decided to attack me for whatever reason. Then I jumped back, and I thought that I would try something new, something else that I'd probably be great at. In fact, I know that I'd be great at it, which is talking to people. So I engaged them in conversation. I asked them how the battle went. I took a look around the gate to make sure that nobody was wanting to engage me in a duel or anything. And then I flew back. And yeah, it turns out that I am great at diplomacy, as expected. As you can see here, they're engaging me. They appreciate my name because they obviously recognize it. And I get a little more info, like exactly who are the people that won, that have been listening to me. I explain a little bit what I'm about, my hopes and dreams and aspirations, the things I've already accomplished, the things that I would like to do. In my Mighty Punisher, like actually ambulating around it, possibly by rolling my capsule down the hall. And then I decided to see if they would be willing to sponsor my efforts. So I told them a completely true story about needing a little bit of funding. And one of them actually did say that he would send me some money, but, he never did. Which was a little bit of a disappointment. I suppose it's a bug. So instead, I decided to start looting the wrecks of these ships, and I'm pretty sure that every single ship on this field is one that I personally killed. It probably doesn't reflect in my kill board if you look it up, because it takes a while for anything like that to catch up in time, but that's okay. And then, while I was doing that, and they let me do it, of course, because they know who won this battle for them, we talk about equipment, about money making, economics. I talk about maybe some plans I have for investment in the future, and they do engage me in conversation about it, and it turns out that my idea was correct. So, in fact, I'm also a great investor. So, after filling up my cargo hold, I head back to Amar because I have other stuff to do. Most importantly, I realized that I didn't actually reach the Eve Gate yet, but now I can use a micro-warp drive. So I set up my ship, and I head back in to low security on my way back to New Eden. And over here, I encounter this group of fellows on the gate, and I figured that they would let me go, but apparently they haven't quite heard of me yet, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more publicity, I think. And here you see that I've run into kind of a bug where I'm double-clicking on windows and they're disappearing and they're coming back, and I don't know exactly what's going on. I'm sure that, this is some kind of a programming error. It'll get fixed in the near future, but for now, another minor setback. That's okay. I live to overcome obstacles like this. So I decide to get around this camp by going back to the exactly same place in the same kind of ship. And they're still there. I'm looking around because I don't want to repeat my mistake of simply warping right to the gate, because that's how they caught me last time. And so this time, instead, I warp right to the gate. And as you can see, my strategy works. I get away from the gate camp, and I'm well on my way to New Eden to continue my journey. And I suppose, this time they talked to me, so maybe now they realize their mistake the first time around, but that's okay. I don't hold a grudge. So I get all the way back to New Edenshire, and I pick up my trail again, and I'm heading for the Eve Gate for about almost 6 hours, and then I realize that this is really boring. So I bookmark my location again, and I head back because I have to do something else. And I think what I want to do is just get back right into PvP, although that wasn't really it. Nevertheless, I took off my Punisher again, head back to Roshzar, and I spotted a Firetail in a Plex, and I'm not sure what a Firetail is. I mean, it sounds kind of wimpy. I mean, certainly not a manly ship like the Punisher, so I start engaging, but he doesn't want to engage me, so I decide that I'm going to turn off my safeties. And I do so, and immediately start attacking him, and I think that maybe the safety switch, actually, it does something to your damage control, because I'm taking a lot more damage than I should be. As you see here, I mean, that fight was ridiculous. But, I mean, that's okay. Lesson learned. And it really doesn't matter that much. I mean, honestly, to be perfectly fair, I was a little bit distracted because I now still have the diplomacy bug. And I realized that the only way that I could reasonably begin to work on my career as a diplomat is to become a lead diplomat in a major Nullsec alliance. Now, I don't really have a lot of experience with Nullsec alliances, but I have heard of Test Alliance. And last that I heard, they were headquartered in Fountain, and their home system was 6 VDTH, so it makes sense that that's where their recruitment office would be. And, my information may be a little bit out of date, although I did go and check a write-up on the history of Test, and honestly, I got about like halfway through it, but I figure that's good enough. So at this point, I hop in a Punisher, and I head out to pursue my new career. Now, this trip is like, 38, 39 jumps or something. It's a pretty long trip, and it does cover a lot of space. And I know that maybe some of you watching this may be thinking, oh, but creepy bald uncle, I'm not cool like you. I can't just like walk right through Nullsec and Nullsec. Well, you're right and you're wrong. You're right in that you're not quite cool like me, but you're wrong in thinking that you can't just take off into Nullsec and Nullsec. And as you can see, like, not a lot is actually happening. You just have to observe a couple of very simple rules when you're traveling through dangerous space. And the first rule, which you'll see me follow a lot here, is that the best way to get from gate to gate is to simply click on the gate in your overview and hit the jump button. If you head off to, say, a Celestial or something, that gives the enemy time to scan you down, or it gives them time to set up a camp at your exit gate. And you really don't want that, especially in Nullsec. Just go gate to gate to gate to gate to gate. They will never catch you. There's nothing that could possibly stop you this way. Another good rule for traveling through low and Nullsec is to get an idea of the characteristics of the region. Like right now, I'm in this place called Cloud Ring, and that sounds kind of effeminate, doesn't it? Really sort of soft and puffy, and you figure that that is pretty much what traveling through there is going to be like. It's extremely comfortable, nice and soft, and no one's really going to get in your way. They're doing their best, in fact, to try and make you feel at home. So now I've gone all the way to Fountain, and the traffic is still really light. As you can see, I'm following my my own advice. I'm going gate to gate to gate. Everything is going just fine. And I'm starting to wonder, maybe somebody informed them that I was coming. I mean, it wasn't in the intergalactic news, but it's possible that someone said to them, hey, creepy bald uncle is on the way, you better watch out. And once I get into this system, XFTQL, I do see the first signs that maybe they knew something was up, because there's a large welcoming party there, and I'm perfectly fine with that. They're there to give me an escort. I say hello to them in local, but they're having some trouble keeping up, and I'm a little disappointed in that. I really thought that Tess would have trained its pilots a little bit better than that.
And at this point, they fall way behind. I figure that's fine. They'll catch up. They'll hear about what's going on as soon as I get to 6VDT. Now, one thing I notice here is that while I'm traveling, and there's not much going on, that 6VDT, or rather the Fountain Constellation, does not appear to be under control of Test. I don't know what's going on here. I mean, did they rent it? I guess it's possible. Maybe they're subletting the space out since they moved on to much bigger and better things. I don't really know who Fatal Ascension is, but I'm sure that once I get to 6VDT, that they'll be able to tell me how I can get in touch with a recruitment officer.